Like this, as I declare you so, Lagos State Police Commissioner don't fall out now, don't chook mouth concern all the katakata wey people don't want to do concerning election for the Lagos State lifestyle so, and even the presidential election wey don pass so. But for this, from the kind response wey this man give, me personally, I no dey satisfied, because e be like say, even though they say we are all equal before the law, e be like say some people are more equal than others. Because as I ask am about MC Oluomo matter, make una hear the kind response wey Lagos State Police Commissioner give concerning that matter so. Anywhere you dey, make sure say you share the video, make everybody see and know wetin dey sup for the country, and not forget to comment your opinion. Una watch am.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Before we went to the break, we were talking about investigations into individuals who were inciting religious or ethnic violence within the state, especially leading up to the elections this weekend. Could you give us an update on the investigation into MC Oluomo? Is he being investigated for these incendiary statements that he made?
Yes, I can confirm that all the video clips are being reviewed, and the statements and the assertions, the threats contained therein are subject of ongoing investigations. And as we proceed, if facts are established against the provisions of the law, nobody is above the law in this country. Our existence is regulated by law, and we are bound together by law. The political process is regulated by law, and nobody can be above that. So if these allegations are established, you can be sure that appropriate legal and criminal proceedings will be initiated against the specific actors involved.
What assurances are you giving residents of Lagos of a hitch-free poll devoid of ballot snatching and other related incidences and other crimes for tomorrow's elections, the gubernatorial elections, as it were? All right, Mr. Oluomo, if you can hear me, I'll repeat the question. What assurances are you giving Lagos residents of hitch-free polls tomorrow's governorship elections?
Thank you very much, Arise.
Please go ahead. Go ahead with your response.
Okay then. So thank you very much, Arise, and I do appreciate this opportunity to once again reach out to Lagosians. Of course, the electoral process, the exercise of the franchise by Lagosians is a right, and the obligation to ensure that they have the peaceful and secure space to exercise that franchise rests primarily with the Nigeria Police. So towards this, we are working with other agencies. We have picked some lessons from the previous presidential exercise in relation to identifying gaps that could be filled. And between the last exercise and the one scheduled for tomorrow, we have strengthened our election security architecture. We have strengthened our operational plan. We have strengthened the synergy between the Nigeria Police, the military, the intelligence community, and other security agencies. And we have also reached out to strategic stakeholders in order to engage the citizens more, particularly in the area of also cooperating with the Nigeria Police in order to assist them in delivering a very peaceful electoral process. So with what we have done so far, with the knowledge, the experience we took away from the previous exercise, and with our understanding of the current security dynamics within the space, the wider space in Lagos, I think I can confidently assure all Lagosians that their police will support them to deliver a very peaceful electoral process come tomorrow.
All right. So there have been many reports, especially since the presidential elections took place, of voter suppression, of targeted incidents of violence. I'm wondering if anything has come of any of those investigations into those particular incidents. I'll even direct you to a specific incident that we spoke of in our intro in Surulere yesterday, where the Labour Party candidate was attacked for whatever reason. Is the police going to be able to go ahead and apprehend these suspects and at least show the public some form of justice being served? Because justice delayed is justice denied, and we don't see any proactive form of these actors being apprehended or even being told to calm down. Is this a situation that the police will step in and actually have people to point out and show as scapegoats, or lack of better word? Will there be an enforcement of the justice that we can see tangibly?
Yes, thank you very much. Of course, I wouldn't isolate the political tension and the violence that you reference. It's cross-party. And going specifically to the Surulere incident that you mentioned, there was a political gathering, and some local urchins did attack the gathering, and the information was, of course, passed to the local police detachment there, and they responded promptly, stabilized the security order, and gave a hot chase to the attackers, in the course of which they abandoned one of the tricycles that they brought. That has been recovered by the police. And of course, the police guided the injured and took them out for medical attention. So currently, investigation is ongoing. Of course, we have a very good lead in the tricycle that we recovered. So we'll use that effectively to attempt to identify the brains behind the attack. And I can assure, in my honor, that once the process is concluded, the elements behind this attack will certainly be identified and charged to court. And the general feelings that most of these cases were not charged is also misleading. We did come out clearly that during the presidential elections, we made some arrests. We arrested quite over 20 suspects for different offenses. The Electoral Act provides that the process of a prosecution will have to be handled through INEC. And as at Monday this week, we have already processed 5 of such case files to INEC, with about 5 suspects linked to those cases for prosecution by INEC. Those that are not directly linked to electoral offenses, maybe we arrested them in the course of enforcing the movement restrictions, and we recover firearms or other incriminating items. The police have also charged them to court. So we have all these facts, and this, of course, is in clear compliance with the directive of the Inspector General of Police. So for us, we have demarcated between the law-abiding and those we call electoral advisories. If you stay within the line of the law, we'll protect you. If you veer off the context of the Electoral Act, regardless of which political party, your background, you can be sure that you will be apprehended, investigated, and prosecuted. And we'll make the process open, as we have done in the past. So we have a number of them already charged. I think Lagos State is one of the lead states to initiate prosecution against those arrested during the election and will sustain that. Nobody should be left in doubt about that.
Very good, Commissioner. But what about acts of incitement? Those who make incendiary comments, trying to whip up unnecessary sentiments against other voters in terms of suppression, as it were. MC Oluomo has also been making some comments recently against those who allegedly won't vote APC, or as it were. So in that kind of scenario, you know, what is the responsibility of the police? How far have you gone in giving us assurances that such individuals will be held culpable, or rather be held accountable for their actions?
Well, first and foremost, we condemn in the strongest possible terms any acts, statements, actions that could be interpreted as hate speech, or that could be interpreted as a deepening political tension, regardless of the brain that could be behind that. With regards to the specific video you mentioned, it is currently a subject of a detailed investigation, and we are, of course, deploying our cybersecurity assets to support that process. And I can assure you that nobody is above the law. This country is regulated by law. So anybody that tries to use his position, his influence, in order to deepen hate or engender political tension, which could, of course, snowball into violence, it remains the responsibility and the mandate of the Nigeria police to investigate such cases. This specific one you mentioned will not be an isolation. It is already a subject of review, and it will be in the interest of the actors behind it and all others that might wish to also engage in such ill-informed, ill-directed actions, to be very careful, to be firmly warned, because in the fullness of time, the full law will take its course, and it will not be different in this instance if established.